I'm sure many are aware of David Blaine's supposed Ascension stunt that went down about a week ago. It was nothing more than smoke and mirrors. Of course, David Blaine, being a magician and illusionist, and all it was clever editing. No one has amateur footage of this actually taking place. And I'm not saying he can actually skydive or do some of the stunts you see him actually do. But again, this is smoke and mirrors. No way he went up that high with these balloons. And let's get to the footage itself. And again, as you see him go up, and again, after this point, shortly thereafter, is just cut footage. And again, there's a reason they abandoned the New York location and ended up doing this in Page, Arizona. And it's all about the icon. This is what it's all about. The whole Ascension stunt is all about the mockery of Christ. And this is what it's about. And of course, as you see, the rainbow-colored balloons.
Wow, that is amazing.
And I'm going to skip around here just to get to the point of this video where you see him up in the sky, supposedly. And again, nothing more than smoke and mirrors. And people look at this as purely entertainment. The masses, when this is basically ritualistic, again, which I'll get into right here, clearly fake, phony. I'm going to skip ahead here a little bit more and getting to the point where he's about to supposedly descend back to Earth. And right here, so fake and phony. Nothing but garbage. Again, that's all they give us as he supposedly makes his descent back to Earth. And look at this. What is this garbage? Nothing but nonsense for the masses. Again, this is all ritualistic, which again I'll get into momentarily. Where he supposedly comes down, and this is the point where, again, the editing takes place, where more or less he's just jumping out of an airplane when he comes back down with the parachute and does his landing. And again, I'm not saying he's not actually coming down right here, but definitely not from 25,000 feet.
Are there power lines next to this road?
There is a skinny set run of that canyon. Just land in that ravine, going with the ravine.
And here comes the piece of garbage coming in for his landing. This deceiver, again, magician, illusionist. And it's like someone that's running a marathon and they just, for the last mile, get involved with the race. Again, this man has accomplished minimal. And again, let's get right to the footage. And let's take a look here. Again, nothing about this is real. 100% just Photoshop. And the outline and all with David Blaine. And this is very important. This is the aspect I want to get into with David Blaine and why he's named David Blaine. He was born David White. And you can see here his parents, William Perez, Patrice Maureen White. He took the last name, the surname White, after his mom. But again, David Blaine, there's a reason. Of course, if you follow my channel, it's all about Freemasonry. And David Blaine just so happens to be 33. So again, very clear why the name change. Where did the Blaine come from? Not from the parents, as you can see. And when it comes down to, this is Chaldean numerology, as you see with David Blaine. And basically, it's, again, Chaldean magic. And as you can see here, Ascension just so happens to be 33. So basically, with David Blaine and Ascension, you get your dual 33s with Freemasonry, as I show many times. as you can see here. A little bit of a close-up of the dual 33s within the diamonds or the pyramids. And as you can see here, Luther Smith, Freemason, and Judge. And you see him here with Buzz Aldrin. And again, the occult of Ascension when it comes to this stunt with David Blaine. And getting back to Buzz Aldrin with the occult of the Apollo missions. Of course, Apollo is the false god. So again, always the occult in plain sight. And of course, the masses have no clue what is taking place. Just like all these gimmicks, these fads in society, just like the mannequin challenge, they don't pull these concepts out of thin air. You have your mannequin, which is 33, and then you have challenge being 33. So again, you have your dual 33s of Freemasonry, just like the Tide Pod challenge. Okay, this was something that was all over the media, which was just a couple years ago. And what do you have here? You have your Tide Pod with your 33. And again, like I stated, with the mannequin challenge, you have the Tide Pod challenge. So you have your dual 33s again with Tide Pod and the mannequin challenge. And this video within a Masonic Lodge with the mannequin challenge being demonstrated. And of course, the roots of these, they're going to give us, false reasonings. Oh, this was started by some teenagers at a high school in this state or that state, always with the false meanings, when the reality is these are started by the Masons pulling the strings from behind the scenes, as you see here. And again, the occult of the 33 when it comes to the mannequin and the challenge, like I showed previously. How does this all relate to David Blaine? Again, this is very important, very key when it comes to the actual location of Page, Arizona, where the supposed Ascension stunt took place. It's upside down here. I'm going to get a better vantage point, but basically the runway, and that's what I'll get into right now. And again, the reasons behind everything they do is not just pull it out of thin air. With the Page Municipal Airport, just take a look. And what do you see here? Runway number 33. On one end, and on the other end here, let's get a little bit of a close-up. And you see, it's upside down, this runway 15. So you have your 15, and again, your number 33. What does this remind you of for those that have followed my channel over the years? And that's in Florida, the NASA Space Center. And let's get a close-up of the Kennedy. And Kennedy, interesting enough, of course, named after John F. Kennedy, Kennedy being a 33 name. And what do you see here? Just like in Page, Arizona, you have your runway number 33. And one end and the other end, let's get a little bit of a close-up. Pretty long runway here. And right here, you'll see, again, it's upside down. And again, 15 and 33. And this is, again, always about the occult. Let's take a look. The 33 of Freemasonry, this represents the fallen angel bloodline, as mentioned in the Bible from Revelation 12, verses 3 through 9, where a third of the stars or angels, these are, of course, the fallen angels, fell to earth. And again, this is exactly why they use that number 33. And also talking about the runway, again, of course, the 33 and the 15 on the other end. Taking a look at this runic wheel, the number 15, let's get a little bit of a close-up actually, just so happens to be the sign of the cross. So again, always the hidden meaning in plain sight. You have to sometimes dig a little bit deep to find the true meaning of these, again, signs and symbols. And this comes from a very famous Freemason, Manly P. Hall, where he states, "It is said that wisdom lies not in seeing things, but in seeing through things." And definitely, the people that run this world, they don't work off random. Everything is by design. They're very meticulous with everything they do. Just like when it comes to their own and controlled music industry, and the record albums being 33 1/3 RPMs. And again, just like also in their own and controlled movie industry, with this one particular scene from Full Metal Jacket released in 1987, well, you see these two army soldiers having this dialogue in the back. Take a look what's right in plain sight. Again, people are looking in the foreground, they're not looking in the back. And again, the devil's in the details. You have your dual 33s, and on the can itself, you have the eagle, which is just like I shown earlier with famous Freemason Luther Smith. And let's get a little bit of a close-up. Again, the dual 33s and the dual-headed eagle in plain sight. So again, signs and symbols rule this world. That's what they're all about. And again, you'll see it again right here with the eagle on the can. And getting back to David Blaine, this is very important aspects I'm covering further than David Blaine, because we have to understand, of course, our whole society, not just movies, music, every aspect, politics. It's all owned and controlled and run by the Masons. And again, getting back to David Blaine here, more occult hidden in plain sight with David Blaine Live. And again, getting back to the whole entire mockery, just like the Ascension stunt. You see David Blaine with his arms out like Christ being crucified. Just mockery. And you see again the duality aspect of the D and the B. And it almost looks like a heart with a dagger coming through it. And again, when it comes to these people that run this world, the Masons, they work in opposites. So you have live, and live backwards is evil. Just like I demonstrated here from this one book by Crowley, where they learn to do things backwards, in reverse. They learn how to write backwards, walk backwards, just like Michael Jackson's backslide. Also, to listen to records in reverse, practice speaking backwards, reading backwards. They say the Lord's Prayer backwards in the Satanic Church. Another example of doing things in reverse, doing things in opposites, with this 1980 movie titled Flash Gordon. And you see General Colitis from the movie with the Masonic square and compass in plain sight. And just take a look at the scene and watch what he does with the hourglass.
You have until the sands run up.
And the sands going up, going in reverse. Again, the whole satanic concept of doing things in opposites. Now, again, getting back to David Blaine, and with this from 3 years ago, this video footage with Dave Chappelle, Drake, and also off screen is Stephen Curry, the NBA MVP in the past with the Golden State Warriors, where David Blaine does this trick of spitting out 3 frogs. And let's take a look at the actual footage. And again, there's always a meaning. I really need to emphasize that there's a meaning behind everything they do. Take a look, and it'll be plain to see. So that's frog number 1 that he spits out. There's frog number 2. And there's frog number 3. And again, there's a reason behind everything they do. And this is, again, mockery of the Bible from Revelation 16, verses 13 through 14. And I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. And for they are the spirits of devils working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world to gather them the battle of the great day of God Almighty. And of course, that is Armageddon. And one thing I should mention is, of course, it states here, kings of the earth, and there's, of course, no kings any longer. These are a reference of today's presidents and prime ministers. But again, the whole concept of these 3 frogs coming out of the mouth of David Blaine. People really need to understand, they're not going to get it. Most of society is not going to get it what David Blaine again is doing here, spitting out 3 frogs. And if anybody has doubts, what I'm saying about David Blaine and him being involved with the occult, which means the hidden, and definitely hidden in plain sight with what he's doing here with the 3 frogs, take a listen to David Blaine, and this is coming out of his own mouth. Take a listen.
People think, that you signed some type of deal with the devil. You know this, right?
Yeah, that's obviously no. People say funny things to me, but the devil one I got from my best friend recently, which is, I'm like, come on, man, you know me since we're kids.
Yeah.
And again, all in plain sight. Nothing's hidden in this world. They put it right in front of us, just like this one photo with David Blaine's right eye darkened by a shadow. And this represents being blinded in the right eye, just like all these other so-called celebrities. You have Eminem, Rihanna, Bono, you have Seal, and so forth. And this is from the Bible verse from Zechariah 11:17. Woe to the idle shepherd that leaveth the flock. The sword shall be upon his arm and his right eye. His arm shall be clean dried up. His right eye shall be utterly darkened. And that's exactly what you see. So people in society, the majority of society, they'll see this and they know it's a darker look, but they don't know the deeper meaning. And this goes back, way back in the past as well. There's nothing new under the sun. With John Lennon in this photo with covering the right eye with the flower and the interlocking of the hands, very Masonic. And more recently with Nelly Furtado, again covering the right eye. And some of these artists, I'm sure they're fully aware. Some are just going along with the program, have no idea, and they're just told to do it. And again, to make it on top of this world, you must sell out. You're not going to make it big in this world and be part of this club, just like you see David Blaine with Bill Clinton and Hillary doing a card trick. And just for notation here, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, 2 33s, with Clinton being a 33 name. You see George Bush in China with David Blaine. You see Gates, Kissinger, Michael Bloomberg also with David Blaine. So very obvious, to be part of this club, you must be a Mason or a sellout to a Mason to be part of this satanic system that we all live in.
When I was just a boy.
It's a big club, and you ain't in it. It's a big club, and you ain't in it.